I've given you guys a good break from Secret Invasion content, and we really don't need to rehash the disturbing incompetence that went behind the creation of that series, though I will be briefly summarizing the part that Nick Fury played in this video. For the non-comic book reading audience, I thought it would be interesting to compare how the original Nick Fury handled Secret Invasion in comparison to MCU Nick Fury, and I'm just going to get straight into it. So first up, we have Nicholas J. Fury of Earth-616. The son of World War I fighter pilot Jack Fury, older brother to Jacob and Don. Nick would make his name during the Second World War, leading the Special Ops Unit, the Howling Commandos, into battle in the European, Pacific, and African theaters. He would fight alongside the likes of Captain America, Logan, and he would fight against vampires and even zombies. Fury even tussled with Adolf Hitler, as well as his long-standing enemy Baron Strucker, who would go on to form Hydra. Fury and the Howlers would reunite to fight in Korea and Vietnam, and many of them would go on to join S.H.I.E.L.D. But after the Second World War, Fury became an agent of the OSS, the precursor to the CIA, before joining that organization as well, at some point recruiting the parents of Peter Parker. In 1959, Fury recruited agents for what President Eisenhower called the Avengers Initiative, which is in no way related to the Avengers superhero team. Instead, this group was made up of Sabretooth, Kraven the Hunter, the Atlantean Namora, Dominic Fortune, Silver Sable, and Ulysses Bloodstone. They would hunt down Nazis and at one point even save the life of the future ruler of Wakanda, T'Chaka, father of T'Challa. In the 60s, Fury joined the secret international organization, the Zodiac, which was led by Leonardo da Vinci. Don't ask how da Vinci is still alive at that point, it's its own entirely different story. Later on, he would be named the second director of S.H.I.E.L.D., during which he led the fight against a number of terrorist organizations and supervillains for around 4 decades, unless Marvel retconned that. And if you're wondering how Fury has always looked the same age throughout the decades, it's due to the Infinity Formula, which is similar to the Super Soldier Serum except it prolongs your life. He started taking that after the Second World War, and he'd have to receive routine injections over time. While he was an agent of the CIA and eventually director of S.H.I.E.L.D. by day, by night he was protecting the Earth from alien invaders and evils from other dimensions, threats that Earth would never know about. Fury lost his job as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. after initiating an unsanctioned secret war against Latveria. He recruited some of the Avengers under false pretenses, though this didn't stop him from continuing his work as he had secret S.H.I.E.L.D. caches and bases that nobody else knew about. And after that brief summary of Nick Fury's history, now we get to his part in Secret Invasion. Unlike the MCU version, OG Nick Fury did not have a cadre of Skrull agents working for him. As far as the Earth knew, there weren't a multitude of Skrulls living on Earth, but Fury was the first to become aware of the invasion. And I'd also like to point out that Fury was not the cause of the invasion, it was due to the actions of the group known as the Illuminati. After Fury was fired by S.H.I.E.L.D. and had gone to ground, he met up with his on-again, off-again lover, Allegra Valentina de Fontaine. He found out she was a Skrull pretty quick and killed her. Immediately afterwards, he went to work figuring out who in the superhuman community had been replaced by a Skrull. His first visit was to Maria Hill at S.H.I.E.L.D., who at the time was the director, and told her to watch her back as there were agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. who weren't what they seemed. His advice would not only save her life during the invasion, but also prevent the Skrulls from taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. He also recruited Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, to be a mole in both S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra in order to find out how far-reaching the Skrulls' influence was. Unfortunately, Spider-Woman was replaced by the Skrull Queen after this. Not knowing who among the superhuman community he could trust, Fury put together a new team of Howling Commandos made up of superhumans that didn't exist on any database because they were nobodies. But because they were nobodies, the Skrulls had no interest in impersonating them, so Fury and his team would end up providing strategic backup during the final battle with the Skrulls. And that's about it. Unlike the Disney Plus series, the Secret Invasion comic focused on the superhuman community being infiltrated, not on Nick Fury and politicians, which is what the show should have been. Don't get me wrong, the Skrull leadership in the comics definitely saw Fury as a threat, but having one of them pose as his lover was the closest that they could get to catching him off guard, and it failed miserably. I seriously doubt that Queen Varanki attempted to contact Fury as Spider-Woman for fear of being found. So basically, OG Fury was too much of a badass for the Skrulls to catch him slipping. Unfortunately, Marvel would render Nick Fury virtually irrelevant by 2014, and almost a decade later, he still hasn't recovered. Now let's switch over to Nicholas J. Fury of Earth-199999. The J stands for Jackson, by the way. Nicholas Samuel L. Jackson Fury, or it would if I had written his character. And while many are under the impression that Marvel Studios made Nick Fury black, that isn't quite correct. Marvel Studios simply made their Fury Samuel L. Jackson. MCU Fury was born in 1950 to unnamed parents though he calls his mother Fury, which isn't confusing at all. Fury joined the army right out of high school, rose to the rank of colonel before joining the CIA. During his time in the CIA, he attempted to quell tensions in Europe during the height of the Cold War. In the 1980s, Fury signed on to S.H.I.E.L.D., where he rode the desk for a number of years, presumably up to around 1997, as this would have been when he set up his network of Skrull agents, having met them in '95 during the events of Captain Marvel. The dedication of these foreign agents came at the cost of a promise that Fury would do everything in his power to find the Skrulls a new home. Over the years, Fury would ascend the ranks of S.H.I.E.L.D., largely due to the intel his Skrull agents gathered, until eventually succeeding Alexander Pierce as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. At some point during the 2000s, Fury recruited both Clint Barton and Natasha Romanoff into S.H.I.E.L.D. In 2008, Fury started creeping on Tony Stark and grooming him for the Avengers. In 2010, he demanded that Stark exit the donut and gave him boxes of his father's junk, which would inspire Tony to discover a new element and turn his life around. In 2011, under the orders of Fury, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents discovered Steve Rogers in the ice, and Fury helps him reintegrate into the modern world. In 2012, he lost one of his best agents and the Tesseract to Loki, spurring him on to finally bring the Avengers together, though they wouldn't really become a team until after the death of Agent Coulson, an event that Fury used to manipulate the Avengers to work as a team. In 2014, not knowing that Hydra had been controlling S.H.I.E.L.D. since its inception, was assassinated, though in reality he faked his own death and was later forced to help Steve Rogers, Black Widow, and the Falcon completely dismantle S.H.I.E.L.D., after which he went underground. He briefly resurfaced along with an old helicarrier in 2015 during Age of Ultron, and subsequently wasn't seen again until he was snapped out of existence by Thanos in 2018, during which time his wife Priscilla considered herself a widow. And I almost forgot to mention that Priscilla and Fury had married sometime after the formation of the Avengers. In 2023, everyone was snapped back, but Fury was so shaken by the snap that he couldn't reconcile with his wife, nor pass on the Edith glasses to Peter Parker, instead sending Talos in his stead. Though apparently he wasn't that shaken up, it immediately occurred to him to harvest the DNA of the Avengers after the Battle of Earth. But after Tony's funeral, he immediately takes the chance to leave Earth by joining Saber. And all this time, he still hasn't found a home for the Skrulls, despite a number of the Avengers to include Captain Marvel, and now we know a Skrull Rhodey, visiting a pristine planet that Thanos had settled on and was at the time after the snap uninhabited. So now we arrive at the events of Secret Invasion. Fury is aware that Skrulls live on Earth, though not how many. He knows that he hasn't kept his promise to find them a new homeworld, and he hasn't paid close enough attention to see that Gravik and many other Skrulls have become bitter over the years and are ready to start a rebellion. You'd think after Hydra taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. that he'd be better at catching things like that. So Fury literally hobbles on down to Earth reluctantly, and without a solid plan or resources, he starts his investigation. He's rebuked by Sonya Falsworth, the only competent character in the series. He loses his most loyal agent, Maria Hill, in episode 1, and his most loyal friend, Talos, a few episodes later. He also learns way too late that Rhodey is a Skrull and is even betrayed by his wife. But even when things get desperate, Fury isn't willing to call in any of the Avengers because he says this is personal. In spite of that, he doesn't actually go to face the problem himself. Instead, he sends his dead friend's daughter Gaia, disguised as him, to go duke it out in a Super Skrull fight. And when all is said and done, the Earth is now arguably in a greater state of fear than it was, thanks to the revelation that Skrulls were among humanity the whole time. I don't think there's even a debate here.
Oh, that's bad. And that's you.
OG Fury handled Secret Invasion far better. Whatever the writers for the TV series were thinking, they obviously have no love for Fury or Marvel Comics. I also wanted to throw in an honorable mention, which is Nick Fury from Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That show did a far better adaptation of the comic storyline, and that version of Fury also handled Secret Invasion better than MCU Fury did. So technically this would have been second place, but the video was really about comparing the comic book to the MCU adaptation. Fun fact, how Nick Fury lost his eye in the comics has been retconned a number of times, but he always lost it due to a battle injury. Whereas MCU Fury...
Oh, motherfucking!
You okay?
Yeah, it's just a scratch.
So is it true that the Kree burned your eye out because you refused to give them the Tesseract?
I will neither confirm nor deny the facts of that story.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.